go out on the field and play some silly games just to loosen the thing up. Dodgeball, wiffle ball, a little two-hand touch football. The two got over competitive. Things briefly got out of hand during one of the games and resulted in a scuffle between Titus and Matt, two brothers. It was a freak accident, and the result of the scuffle was a broken bone for Titus. We'll keep him out of the lineup for a few weeks. Our culture is one of love, and the two are very close, remain very close, definitely considered brothers. They're both very remorseful for what happened in yesterday's incident. Matt was held out at tonight's game as a result, but he will return next week, and that is the comment on that, and I will not have any further comment on that. Proud of our team for responding. Really thought, the first couple drives on offense, trying to get our feet wet, couple first downs, but nothing really to speak of, and then kind of got the thing rolling there in the second quarter, and the defense again showed up extremely stout against the run, obviously in a situation where our offense puts us up, whatever it is, 28, 35 points, and a team's going to have to live throwing the football. We got to do a better job. I was disappointed in that, and part of that is on the secondary, but as always, part of that is on the pass rush as well. And I thought we could have done a better job there. And thought the offense, though, no turnovers, 5 for 5 in the red zone and 8 of 16 on third down was a heck of a night. We got to do a better job too, though, as we get our 2s and 3s and 4s in there, especially against really good people like Connecticut, especially on defense. We got to do a better job of not looking so sloppy and silly out there. But overall, really proud of the way our guys responded. Fourth game in 19 days, and come out with that kind of energy and juice was good to see. Questions?
Tom, before the game, or just before we get into the game, just on Duke sitting out, Brandon had already been ruled out, but what was the situation with Catalan?
Was diagnosed early in the week with a concussion from the Texas State game, and we wanted to make sure that it was a concussion. It seems to be very mild. He's already scoring zeros on the little test, and he's progressing. So if he continues to progress, I think we'll have him not tomorrow, but for Sunday's practice. So it was something I certainly didn't want to. I felt it would have been premature to rule him out until I had all the facts, and that's why we didn't obviously make any kind of statement as to that.
Tom, during that game, Greg took one really hard hit, went down, came out one play, and then at one point he kind of got into it with one of their players and some jawing back and forth. How would you describe his toughness and his intensity last year? He was so tough on the field but didn't really speak. Now, and on some level, we're starting to see that other side of Greg Ward come out at times.
I freaking love it. I love it. The guy is a competitive dude. One of the most competitive guys I've been around in my career. Got the wind knocked out of him. Obviously, that doesn't feel good, but nothing serious. And then, the guy stepped on him on purpose. Obviously, drawing the 15-yard personal foul, and great. He's got to be smart. Obviously, let the guy know how he felt about that. Wasn't very happy about it, but I was proud of him for not shoving or, doing anything that would have cost his own team. But his fire and energy is very palpable this season, and I look forward to getting back to work with him again. I think he's playing with a tremendous amount of confidence.
Tom, you alluded to your comments about the first half and the way the first half ended. Did that sort of give you enough notes to go in at halftime to maybe whatever your comments would have been to them at halftime with the blowout to maybe regress some issues?
I thought we had a chance there when our offense went up, 28-0 to really kind of have them tap out, force them to kind of tap out and get into kind of run the clock down in the second half, and we gave them some breathing room. We gave them a reason to continue to play hard in the second half. What I was probably maybe the most proud of was our offense came out in the very first drive. We scored a touchdown in the third quarter to put us back up by whatever that 28, 30, it was 35-7 then, and so was really proud of the way that they responded coming out of halftime, knowing that had we come out a bit listless at this thing, they could have got back into it, and then we would have been in a four-quarter brawl. But to go out and punch the ball into the end zone right off the bat in the third quarter, I think, set the tempo for how the second half was going to be as well.
Tom, can you talk a little bit about Greg's patience in the pocket and his full arsenal today being on display, his running, his throws very tight, everything?
Yeah, much more patient. He's, I think that comes from, he's got a great coach that has, over the course of, 20, 21 months, really taught him the offense, and he's feeling much more comfortable in the offense and knowing the timing of different routes, and that, really good throwing quarterbacks get hit as they throw. But that's the nature of the position, and I think last year a lot of times you would have seen him come off that read or whatever, or that receiver and scramble around, but he's doing a great job of standing in there. Obviously we don't want him to get hit, but some of the more downfield throws that we were going to have to throw tonight against Connecticut, he stood in there like a champ and delivered some really, really accurate balls, and he's growing up before our eyes as a passer.
Tom, you told us.
Before you go.
Okay, you told us the other day you'd be foolish to think there weren't some players in that locker room who wanted some redemption from last year. So did they get that tonight? Do you feel that's how they felt? Is that how you feel after getting this win?
Yeah, I think we never used the word revenge. The word we used was atonement. To make a wrong a right, and we had a chance to atone for the transgressions of last year's team. In terms of we talked all off season that somewhere along the way, maybe it was January of 15, maybe it was June of 15, maybe it was the week of preparation. Somewhere along the way, we screwed up and we took our foot off the gas for a little bit, and it showed up in Storrs, Connecticut, week 11, and we attacked this off season with kind of that game in mind. That if you want to go out and be 1-0 every week, it starts in January, and you can't ever take your foot off the gas in any form of preparation. And that one felt good, and it felt good for Adrian McDonald and for Landon Roberts and for Trayvon Stewart, for Alex Cooper, for Kenneth Farrow, and for all the guys that had to experience that feeling in that locker room and didn't get a chance to come atone for those transgressions. We put that burden on us this week to make sure that they knew we were playing this game for them.
Do you think that Ward might have had a little chip on his shoulder because he wasn't able to start that game last year and he got to start tonight?
I think Ward's got his chip on his shoulder every week. I don't know that it was any bigger this week. I think the whole team had a juice and a pep in their step, knowing what this team, what this opponent did to last year's team, and they wanted to make sure that didn't happen again.
Tom, can you talk a little bit about the game plan tonight? Obviously, Linnell had a huge night in the passing game.
Yeah, the game plan was don't run the football inside. We learned our lesson last year. We were stubborn on offense. Those are some big, stout defensive linemen that in that scheme, in that 3-4 scheme, are extremely difficult to move in the inside run game. So we went into the game, and hats off to Coach Applewhite and the offensive staff. They said in order to win this game, we're going to have to play the game on the perimeter, whether it be with perimeter runs or the bubbles and smoke screens and things like that, and throw the ball downfield. And we went into this week's preparation understanding that, and the kids executed. I think it was a great job of our offensive staff kind of learning from the mistakes of last season and designing and developing a game plan to make sure that that didn't happen again.
Tom, oftentimes when the score gets out of hand, a defense can play to the score. Why do you think your group has been so effective at keeping the foot on the gas despite what the offense is doing, how well the offense is playing?
Oh, that's the culture. You know, Coach Orlando does an unbelievable job. You know, if you take a lazy step in this program, especially in practice or in a game when it's on video, that's going to be a bad day for you when you're in front of your peers and that play is shown. And our culture demands it, not just from the coaching staff, but from the other players. That if you take the field for the University of Houston, you better be out there with your hair on fire, running full friggin' speed to the football. And on defense, when you get there, you better have a bad attitude when you get there. And if you're tired, we'll get somebody else in there. But there's no such thing as a lazy step in this program, because if it happens and it's on video, it's a bad day at the office for that guy.
Hey Tom, seems on defense you guys have been running the majority of your plays in the nickel package. What is the added advantage of having a fifth defensive back as opposed to the fourth linebacker?
Yeah, I think even in, you know, they were in 12 personnel a lot tonight, which is 2 tight ends. Sometimes, you know, well, we did go with our big personnel when they went 13 personnel with 3 tight ends. But I think it's to get your best playmakers on the field. And I think Garrett Davis, or had it been Brandon Wilson, they're perfectly capable of playing that field outside linebacker spot and holding the point on perimeter runs and sticking their nose up in there and they're great blitzers. So I think it's more about getting your best 11 on the field than necessarily saying, hey, well, they're in 12 personnel, so we got to jog out some 240-pound linebacker. No, let's figure out ways for our best 11 guys to get on the field and play versus any kind of offensive set.
Tom, who was responsible for the 20-17 signs that were hung up throughout the?
We did that. Let me do that. We did that last year to teams that we had lost to the previous year. It's just a little motivation. I mean, we actually print signs and have interns and strength coaches walk around at practice with the signs that have the score, just to kind of remind them every time they look up, you know, that we're not going to let that happen again.
Tom, you guys have had, you know, a couple quarters have been quiet, but for the most part, you have been blowing teams out this far post-Oklahoma. How have you watched your guys keep the intensity as high as it needs to be to accomplish what you guys want to do, not just every week, but for this entire season after that big opening win?
Well, I think we're doing a better job these last 2 weeks than we did previous. And I think that the team is growing up. I think they're understanding. You know, again, I go back to, you know, it's 28-7 at halftime, and we get the ball, and the offense goes down and punches one in. I don't know when we scored the one to make it 42. 4:58 in the third, so probably the third series, maybe it was, you know, to score 2 touchdowns in the third quarter, to go up 42-7 and really put the game out of reach. I think, you know, the guys are understanding that, you know, it's important for the morale of the team and the confidence of the team to finish games. And I like where our guys are headed in terms of that maturity level.
Tom, what does it say about your team? First of all, you make the decision to hold a guy out for obvious reasons. But you were missing 4 starters tonight, including Brandon Wilson, who's a key player, and you don't miss a beat. What does it say about your team?
It says they're well coached. You know, and I don't mean me, I mean our assistants do a great job. One of our 4 pillars of success is what we call competitive focus, and that's being ready when your number's called. And you know, I've said before, when a backup jogs in the game, 1 of 2 reactions is going to happen, and there's only 2. Either your teammates and your coaches are going to be like, hey man, that's great, you know, Mekhi's going in. I'm fired up for Mekhi because I see how well he prepares each and every day for when his number is called. Or it's, oh my God, no, I can't believe we're putting that guy in. I see how he doesn't work in preparation. I see how he doesn't work. And for the most part, our guys, you know, they take that mantra very seriously, that when your number's called, I know it sounds cliche, but when your number's called, you have to be ready to answer that call. And so our backups prepared just as hard and just as well as our starters.
When you're in the middle of the heat of battle there, and you see Greg take a big hit, and he goes down, what are your emotions?
Get up. Please get up. You know, quarterbacks get hit. You know, in that third quarter, I had made a point to him to protect himself in terms of scrambling around and stuff, and told Major, hey, no more QB runs and all that stuff. But you know, he's an aggressive guy, and he's going to get hit. That's why it's important for him to be at 185 pounds and be as strong as he is, and have the off season that he did. But he's a tough dude, and you know, getting the wind knocked out of you is, you know, it doesn't feel good, but it's a very temporary thing, and so I was glad that that's all it was.
Tom, just not the incident, but just the result of having will Emeke now be who comes in for Bowser? Will you keep it the same as you did tonight?
Yeah, it should be Emeke, and hopefully we get Leroy Godfrey practicing at a level that we would feel good putting him in there.
And Emeke came in. I mean, last year he was kind of the story of camp with the big hit and everything. I mean, what can you say just about his development in that kind of second year?
He's gotten a lot bigger, stronger. He's physically much more developed than he was, but still got a lot of learning to do in the defense. And I don't mean just kind of where to be. He knows where to be. It's how to be there. You know, do I spill this block? Do I box this block in? Do I drop? You know, do I get hands on this receiver in pass coverage, or am I spot dropping to a spot? And I think he's getting there, but obviously being thrown into the fire tonight and then being thrown into the fire throughout the week of practice. Obviously, Navy's a different animal, but you know, and it'll be a very specific game plan for Navy. But I think once we can go back and play our normal, regular defense, he'll be a lot better off for having you know, this experience tonight.
Tom, you mentioned Titus. You mentioned broken bone. What exactly is his injury?
I don't know yet. We're going to know more in the coming weeks, and I'll update, or in the coming days, and I'll update you.
And you alluded to the day before. I guess what's a typical Friday for you guys in this regard?
Yeah, Fridays we go out and we have, you know, position meetings and an offense-defense unit meeting, and we go out and before we have a walkthrough, we have about 20 minutes of just goofing around, you know, games. You know, the D-line plays against the tight ends and specialists in they put little trash buckets 10 yards apart, and you got to throw the football and make it into the bucket, first 1 to 10. You know, the other team does push-ups. You know, the quarterbacks play a little roped off version of kind of two-hand touch football inside between the sideline and hashes. The DBs play wiffle ball against each other. There's dodgeball going on. There's all sorts of just games going on for about 20 minutes, and then you know, part of you know, getting your competitive juices going, but also loosening your body up for a walkthrough. And then we have about 25 minutes of a walkthrough, and then we have a special team substitution review where we bring the first team, you know, punt team out, and then each guy, I say, you know, Chance Allen's down, and he's got to call his backup out, and his backup runs out, and so we do that for every special team, so the backups know and can stay into it, and then we jog off the field, get in the cold tubs, and head over to the hotel.
Got players now?
Yep. Thank you.